everyone, welcome to Art for the Ageless. This is our third class, and today we will be doing still life with geometric objects. We will first be reviewing the value scale and the gradation of tone from dark to light. Let me first talk about the pencil that we will be using. Again, you may hold it either writing style or this way, putting pressure with your forefinger on the tip of the barrel. So a lot of the work involves pressure and the way you move to do the shading. And there are several ways to do that. Let us first take a piece of our 9x12 white paper that is on the tables. Good morning. And at the very top, we are going to make 4 scales. I have placed a little piece of paper on your table. Yes, thank you very much. It is a long rectangular piece. You may either use that as a template to make the 4 samples, or you may just do it freehand. Okay? All right. Then starting with your paper, you are going to make 4 different lines. And then travel down till you get roughly 4 rectangles. Don't worry about perfect rectangles. We are practicing. Okay. Then I want you to apply a kind of a middle pressure. I'm not asking you to get dark right away because there are a lot of ways to do this, and one of the ways is to keep going overlaying what you do. So we're going to start by just using the side of the pencil and going down very lightly. I'm going to go to the large sample now. So I'm going to go down, and as I go down, I'm going to release pressure so that I get lighter and lighter. I'm going to go back, get a little darker, to get a sort of a middle tone. I'm not getting a good grip on this paper. Let me try another one. It's a little bit better. All right, so we're going to go down. And again, release the pressure as you go. Let's try this. And your third one. Oh, this one skips too. All right, well, we'll try the pencil. And getting gradually lighter and lighter. I seem to be scribbling. I don't mean to. Can you see this with my just using the pencil? Okay. Yeah. I think when I did these samples with the regular pencil and I tried to go over it with a charcoal, it was producing a skipping effect, so I'm not getting the results. So, well. All right. What I want to bring out as I release the pressure is that as you keep going over it, you're going to come out with at least 3 tones: a very dark tone, a middle tone, and a light tone. And just for now, just for the sake of beginning to understand, we will use these 3 tones. As you go over it, you will notice it becomes darker and darker. So that's one of the techniques. I'm going to show you the different ways that we do shadow. I would like you to then make 3 circles underneath your sample. Just rough circles. Sometimes, okay, this one is working. Sometimes it's advantageous as far as placement on paper to do the middle one and then go to the left and to the right. Sometimes if you start with your left one, then you find that you're losing space. So we have 3. All right, the first one is the straight line. And so you can either go from your right to the left going this way or from left to right. So sometimes people will shade just doing this straight line. This looks a little crude, but this is just to make you understand. Sometimes we will do a diagonal. Sometimes we will do a curve and try to go with the shape of the object. And of course, sometimes we do a combination of all. Below the 3, please do 2 more circles. I'm going to show you a few more additional ways of doing it. This scale that you see on the right is one that I did with the pencil, going from dark to light, and I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 gradation tones. And that's, if you keep practicing, this is tedious, but it is fun. If you can get those different tones, you will train your eye to see. All right, now, sometimes we do what is called a crosshatch. I love to crosshatch. I do it in painting because it's this kind of a movement, and it's a constant movement. So here I am going to crosshatch. I'm going to go one way, and then I am going to go totally in the opposite. Sometimes, again, I will go and do the roundness. If I do that, then my crosshatch, of course, is going to be round also. Now you might say, oh, that's just kind of sloppy. I don't like that. Okay, then we can go back to spiral. Spiral and the crosshatch of either the diagonal or the curve is my favorite. And of course, you know the spiral when we did our figure drawing. But this time the spiral will be very light. So let's make our last circle down here. And taking that spiral, and don't worry about getting out of the lines. You have an eraser. I brought mine today. So we're going to take this, and let's see if we can get 3 shades. I'm going to start light because I'm not sure of myself yet. Then I'm going to start to darken it at the edge. Again, I slow down when I come to the edge so I don't get sloppy. Maybe a couple of sweeps. Maybe a little cross-hatching. Trying to get a middle tone. And trying to get very light. Of course, I am assuming that the light source is this way. Why? Because I'm left-handed. If you are uncomfortable, it means your light source is better the other way. Okay. All right, let's go to the next item. Take another piece of paper, please. And we are going to draw the basic geometric objects. We will start with our circle. Again, please start by placing your circle in the center. So your first item should be in the center. One to the left, and one to the right. What are we aiming at? We're aiming at understanding. Again, the light is coming from the left. That this is your contour line drawing. That's what we always start with. Then we are going to start by putting a middle shade in whichever way you want, diagonal, spiral. Practice one of them. You're going to need to practice to find out which one is your very favorite. So we're just going to do a middle tone here. Then we're going to move over to our last one. We're going to do that middle tone again. Again, I start with my diagonal, and then I think I'm going to start sweeping a crosshatch at a curve. Now I know that, because I'm doing a basic, that my darkness will increase on the right-hand side. So I'm going to emphasize, see what I'm doing here. I'm going to put more of that emphasis on the right. Of course, when you reach the shadow has got to be the darkest of all, even darker than the right side. So give that one a try. I'm going to move on to the cone. We will be building a cone, and you can use whatever light we have to decide how you're going to shade it. So most of the materials on your desk have to do with this part of the lesson, and then you will be receiving additional materials for the actual construction. All right, let's start in the middle. A point at the top, and what you're going to do is judge. Take your pencil and don't make a line, just judge back and forth. So I'm going to judge this way and this way, make my mistakes, and sweep in a slight curve for the bottom. A contour drawing, again, the point, judging, and down. I don't care how many mistakes you make, just keep going. And the third one, judging, trying to be equal on both sides, down, and the base. Okay, contour drawing. Let us start with a middle shade. I am going to do a quick spiral. and trying to do a middle tone. Again, my darkest shade's going to be on my right, coming along the base. And the last one, the very last one, I'm going to do my middle tone. Rolling it, cross-hatching it, and I'm going to keep layering it. So that the darkest is on the right-hand side, away from the light. That's where the shadow is. And then underneath is going to be the darkest. How are we doing?
It's a start.
Practice, practice, practice. If you want to hold it up so that the camera can see your progress, I invite you. Okay, all right. Anyway, this is what they should look like, okay? We're going to move on with another. Am I going too fast? Raise your hand if I'm just going way too fast.
Yes.
Ah. Stifle yourself. Okay. Archie Bunker, oh my God. Okay. We're going to move on to the cylinder. The cylinder is one of my favorites. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. We're going to make this one also later on. And then I'm going to show you something fantastic. A garbage can. Okay. Let's start by making an ellipse. An ellipse in the middle. This is the top of your cylinder. Then sort of judge down. If you can't do that, then the next thing you should do is just go down from each edge. Okay, straight down. Blah. One to the left, the contour drawing. Why do I do a sample like this? You need to be pretty athletic to keep doing this. So I do a sample, and it helps me to decrease the amount of athleticism I need to go through. Now, if you want to fill in the ellipse at the bottom, that's fine. And the one on the right, again, we're going to practice. We're just doing 4, so we're almost done with this. I know you were asking, where's the fun part? Where do we make the things? It's coming. Be patient. Again, the light is coming from the left, and we're going to indulge in our middle tone. If you lay your pencil to the side, it should release the most of the medium from the barrel.
Can you say a little bit more about that? I'm confused what you mean, indulge in the middle tone. I don't understand that.
Oh, okay. There are 3 basic tones. There's your dark, there's your middle, and there's your light.
And what are we going for on this figure?
Just the basics. We're doing the basic 3. I want you to get to know the lightest one, near where the light falls, the middle tone, which is the middle of the object, and the darker tone, which basically is in the back, most of the shadow is. And then, of course, the very, very dark tone of the shadow.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad I asked your question. Thank you. I thought you were going to ask me about the pencils. I never told you about the pencils. They have marks on them. They have a code near the end of the pencil. And if it has a code of the letter H, it's a graphic pencil. It's a very light pencil. And yes, it's used for graphic work. If your pencils have a B, the letter B as in boy, at the end of the barrel, and you can look at it now and it's going to say B. And the higher the number, like 9B, the darker medium in the pencil. So if you get, even, I tested all these pencils yesterday. Even your 4B will give you a good dark quality. All your pencils were sharpened with the razor. I made sure that they were all working. And if you got the short one, it means that was the one I used to do the work. So I apologize ahead of time. But thank you anyway for taking your pencil. All right, let's try to find our middle tone on our last one. And I'm starting to spiral. That means I'm trying to rush myself because I want you to make those objects. Okay, if you want to put in a little bit of your very light tone over here, fine. Oh, I forgot to tell you. You have to put it for the top of the cylinder. It's going to be dark up here. Then it's going to have a middle tone and onto the light. That gives it more of a 3D effect. Okay? So you can see that clearly. This is the whole fun of it. You get to play around. You get to create. You're the one that decides where the shadows are. And nobody can say, oh, that's not where the shadows are. It's where my shadows are. It's where I put my shadows. That's my decision. Don't let anybody tell you you're not making an accurate presentation. Your art belongs to you, not somebody else. It's your joy. They're going to have enjoyment from it, fine. Oh, I see what's wrong. You know what I'm getting over here with these dark lines? I'm using a corrugated cardboard backing, and it has lines going like this, and so I see that they're making an impression on my work. Yeah, you can see that right now. The darker I get, the more the lines of the corrugated cardboard are coming out. So I refer you to this drawing, which is, of course, done without corrugated backing. All right, I'm going to move on to the cube. This is a little bit hard, but you can do it. Starting in the middle, we're going to make a line at the top. One at the bottom. You're going to have to judge sides. And make your diagonal line at the top. Go across. Down. Of course, it might take a long time for you to, do this, but practice, practice. Oh, yeah. There's a wooden tongue depressor I gave to everybody. And that's your cheating stick, okay? Yes, I use a cheating stick. If you're having trouble drawing the lines, just put the stick down and zip, you've got your line, okay? So anyway, that's another tool. I always look around for tools to use. What can I use that's going to help me be a little bit more accurate if I want to be? Okay, so roughly we have our 3 squares. We've done the lines that make them 3D. This is our contour drawing. And it's line specific. Now, the cube is curious. When the light comes at it, the lightest shade, of course, is going to be on the top, if at all. Your middle tone is going to be in front. So we're going to draw a middle tone. Lightly. And the darkest tone is on the side. So let us fill in that. And you can spiral, you can do a straight, a diagonal, you can cross hatch. Get that in. So I'm going to skip over to the right and see if I can't get more of a finish to it. I now know that I need to be very careful with the pressure because of the corrugated backing is just going to give me a pattern that I don't want. Maybe at this point I am scribbling, but do it again for homework at home. And the dark shadow. Anyway, this is what it should look like. Raise your hand if you're ready for the next thing, because it's getting really close to break time, and I still have a lot of work.
Sure.
You okay? All right, thank you. Move on. All right, let's look at our next sheet. Oh, this is for the home audience, but that's okay. It means that we're all just about right on time. So what I'm going to do is give everybody a quick 10-minute break, and then we're going to put our materials in our folders, because I'm going to pass out the materials for our first project. There's a snack over there, Oreo cookies, Chips Ahoy, Teddy Grahams, and our favorite Barnum and Bailey animal crackers. How many of you remember animal crackers? Ah, love them. Okay, so Sean, we're going to do our break early now.
Okay.
And while you're on break, I am still up here, but I am going to be instructing the online audience. Okay? Okay, online audience. I have asked you all to get a 9x12 paper and cut it in half so you get 6x9, 6x9. The first project is the cylinder. So, taking 1/2 of that paper, yeah, and also for the people at home, and for you also, there's another piece of paper, a 1/2 of a sheet of newsprint, and that is for a glue protection for the table. Because when you start going at it, you're going to want to do this, and it's going to get all, these edges are going to get all over the table. So you please put this protective covering down as courtesy. Great, I don't have any newsprint. Pat, would you do me a favor? Oh, thank you, okay. Thank you very much. Glue paper. Okay, here we go. We're going to take our... Can I borrow your glue, your glue stick? Oh, yes. I went and put all my extra glue stick away. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, our whole purpose with this is we're going to take this paper and we're going to roll it like this to make a cylinder. And what we need to do, of course, is to glue across this part of it. So, how much? Oh, maybe about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, kind of like eyeball it. So, turn this to the left. So, putting this paper down on your furniture, we're going to decide Okay, let's do it this way. And we're going to do this business, which, see what I mean? It's going all over the table. You know what? Jane, would you be kind enough to give that glue stick in back of you to Mary, and I'll use this one? Could you do that, Jane? Yeah. Okay, great, thank you. All right, so we're just going to go like this, turn it over, get the size, thickness of the cylinder we want, and we're going to hold it there, press it. You have a choice. You can either do this with your a paper clip if you want to secure it. I have staplers in the back of the room, or you can use your glue stick. They look nicer with the glue stick. There you go. See? Okay, so that's your cylinder. The triangular prism is only used when we're going to do our still life. So the other part of the paper, very simply, we're going to do this part. I need to, I need to quickly instruct them in the pattern for the other two, and then I will get back to the class. Okay. For the cone, you're going to take about just a square piece of paper. Where's that cone? And you're going to make a circle that is about 6 inches in diameter. Okay? And then you're going to find the center. How do you find the center? Well, that's simple. You bend it one way and give it a little crease. Bend it the other way, give it a little crease, and your center. Then you put a little pin or a paper clip that's opened up in there, and you're ready. So that is how we're going to be doing our cone. So you need to prepare about a 6-inch circle or a saucer, any circular object you have at home to trace. Okay, the last one is a little more difficult. So you're going to take a 9-inch cutoff from the 9 by 12, and you're going to take your ruler and measure across 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, and down here at the same. Turn it, mark it off again, draw your lines, and then cut the top two at the 3 and the 6-inch line or mark, and at the bottom 3 and 6. Okay, and you'll get something that looks like this. Okay, so that's enough for our online audience, and I've got 5 minutes to spare, so I'll come around and check on my students, and then you are going to get this paper pre-cut. Okay? Yeah. For coming to class today, you are getting special. Go back here. Oh, come on, guys. I love it when we get all of our work done every day. Okay. More surprises. All right. So that's 3, 4. Okay. Yes, we're on break now for about 5 minutes, and we're right on schedule. So I'm going to walk amongst you. Oops, mask. I've been on a diet. Oh yeah, upwards, looking upwards. Yeah, well that's nice. Let me see where you're at. No.
Is it Fremont Park in Sacramento? And mostly nonprofit organizations use the money that they're allowed to draw a chalk picture on
Oh,
It's fabulous.
I mean, there are so many organizations out there that are helping people. That's the good part. Like the Veterans Administration program for the caregiver support, helping people. Well, I wrote back to Tricia yesterday, and I told her my ideas, and I'm going to do clowns. The legends of Shakespeare's comedies. Well, actually, I have to explain to my daughter, about the comedy interactions in a play that has a lot of sadness in it. Use the comic relief. There's Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton. I mean, you go on and on with people who are playing Pierrot. But anyway, so, okay, good. It's a star. See? Good. I want you to be fast, another fast artist. Keep working. The faster you go, the more you work. Shaming us all. God, you're good. You are so good. You pick up on my tricks and tips very quickly. And this gentleman, is he looking for Oreo cookies or what? Are you looking for chocolate Oreo cookies? Are you looking for a chocolate Oreo cookie? Okay? Okay. Gee, I can't give him that. The last bag, you're lucky. Okay. Guys, Teddy Grahams, animal crackers in your soup. Chips Ahoy, these are really good. I'm gonna give this guy two. Stars for sweets. Now, sir, today you're getting 2 bags. You're getting Chips Ahoy, which are really good, and Oreos. Which one do you want to do first? Okay, let me open it for you. Go. Well, can you get that one? Can you get that to your mouth? Isn't that cute? I love that. There you go. Would you like something? You're a hard worker. You wicked. Those are good. You know what? Fruit. Fruit.
Maybe, but I need to make a circle.
No, those are good drawings for fruit. You must make your own still life with the fruit and do the shading. Even if it's contrived, you'll do very well. So let's see. I look forward to people coming. I look forward to being with you. I do. She's delicate, isn't she? Darker, darker, darker. my purpose in having the middle one was not to go all the way. I wanted to go all the way with the last one. The reason why I didn't go down, the only thing I can think of is the tools I'm using are unsatisfactory today. For some reason, they're not gripping the paper the way they should. And I'm, very surprised and embarrassed because they usually did grip. So I'm wondering, I must be missing one of my tools. So perhaps, I know I had one with a soft charcoal, because the soft releases the most, and I don't see it. So I think I'm, so I'm at a loss with my tools. How you doing? Okay, you're getting there. This shadow should have gone down right to the edge as far as the lesson went. This is more accurate. Sometimes you'll see a light reflection on the right-hand side of objects, and sometimes I'll try to reflect it and sometimes I won't. I think it has to do with just taking artistic license, or just that artist, shame. Excuse me. Whew. Sean, I guess we're going to be back in a few seconds. Okay, I'll need some assistance here. Yeah, this is for the cylinder. We're going to do this first. Yes, one each. Thank you. All right. Sean is going to pass out the paper for the cylinder. So we're going to do that one first. So get your glue stick papers ready, get your glue stick ready, uncap it, now I did that for you, Len. Sean, are we live? Oh, okay. Thank you for your assistance. Online audience and in-class persons, we're going to do the cylinder one more time. Please take your glue stick protector paper and place it under your cylinder paper. Uncap your glue stick. Turn it to the left to bring it up. And let's do it. Again, whenever you do the gluing, I learned this in the commercial art in New York, you're supposed to go this way off the paper. Okay? That's why we have the glue stick protector paper. So, we did this before, so it should be easy enough. Going around. Thickness or thinness is your choice. And again, if you prefer, just clip it. Okay.
It really sticks.
It does, it's wonderful. Okay, now we're going to move on to the triangular prism. Sean, I'll need some help also, unless if you want to just give it to two of the students, they can do it. All right, we are now passing out another paper. It's a little longer. There's a purpose to that.
Thanks, Sean. Should I hit this at him?
Jane, would you do me a favor and take this cylinder and give it to the gentleman in the back? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Try. I will, Jane, I'm going to give him the samples, yes. Okay. Okay. Fold it in half. Crease it. Half again. Crease it. Open it. Take the last flap and turn it inward so that it will look like this. Now what we're going to do is glue the base of the triangular prism, and when you fold it in, of course, it will look like this. Was it a chicken coop? That one's, somebody said we're building a chicken coop.
You're gonna make chickens?
Oh, next lesson. Okay, so we're down here with a triangular prism. Home audience, this is the easy one, okay? Okay, there we go. Oh, I made an airplane. Ugh. I used to love to do that with my kids in elementary school. I teach them how to make a paper airplane. Then we go outside and fly them, avoiding the principal at all times. Okay, so anyway, it doesn't make any difference whether you're doing the top or the bottom. Again, away, 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 away. Okay, there you go. And folding it, aligning it carefully. If you like press the corners like this, just watch what you're doing. Stick your fingers in it and kind of. Chicken coop. Mary, would you give this chicken coop to the gentleman in the back? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now the hard part. I hope the people at home have their circles ready. I hope they made their point and drew their line to the outside of the circumference. Love geometry, just love it. Okay, for the people at home, good luck, because now these people have it easy. Teresa, thank you. It's all pre-cut.
Thank you.
We have some wonderful students, wonderful supportive helpers. We do for each other. Even in the artistic community in Sacramento, many artists post their work online, and we belong in this group, and we comment on each other's work. That's the way we support. Okay. So, glue paper, glue stick, and release more product. Now you say, okay, where are we going to do this? It doesn't make any difference. I think maybe you should practice before you start gluing. Let's practice as to how exactly you want to do this. Do you want a real flat one, like that, like a hat? Or do you want more of a point to it? So the more point you want, then the more you're going to have to squeeze it in. Now there will be a little bit of an overlay or sticking out, like I can see it's going to match over here, but it's not over here. That's okay. That's the way it goes. All right, so you need to decide just what you want to do with it. If you wanted to do it, you could get a pencil, get your pencil, and draw a line so that you know how much glue you want. So I know I'm going to have to put glue on this entire area. Why can't I find anything? Okay, so here I go. Again, put your protection down. You have your line here, you have your opening here, right to the edge, and of course, out to the edge here. Okay, there we go, it's done. Be careful, because once it sticks, you just might not be able to unstick it. Hold it carefully underneath, smooth it. There. All right. Okay. Jane? Thank you very much, Jane. All right, now we're ready for the big one. My kids used to love to make these. When you make these, you have all sorts of uses for them. Little pencil boxes, candies, putting a design on the side and then putting little paper flowers inside and giving it to mom, sticking a little hole here and making a little handle. Kids used to love to do that. Anyway, one of my favorites. Okay. The tricky part is the folding. Thank you very much, Teresa. Thank you. Okay. Are we ready? I see some of you have started to stack them up, making your own still lives. You know what we're going to do. Okay, I'm just going to run through the practice for it. When I fold it, okay, my flaps are at the top, my flaps are at the bottom. Then I fold it, crease it, open it, do the other side, fold it, crease it, open it up. Then I'm going to turn it around. This one is easier because you know where the cut is going. So fold it, fold it. It should start to take on a life of its own now and want to go into the shape. At the top, folding it.
All the flaps go inward?
Yes. Yeah. When you have finished that, just hold, you know where the base is, of course, the center. Just hold that in your hand. And it can fold in two ways. It can either fold with these flaps going out, or you can do it with the flaps going in. Either way, you need to decide what is getting glued and what is not getting glued. So, I might suggest that at first you do 1/2 by gluing this flap and this flap. So we're going to do, I guess we'll call them flap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, flap 1 and 3. Let's glue that first. Okay, flap 1 and 3. This is flap 1. Airplanes here. Ugh. And this is flap 3. So I'm going to glue this in front and in front. Basically, you can't go wrong no matter which way you glue it. It's going to come out right. So then if I glue this one and this one going this way, I'm done. So again, I'm opening it up. I'm gluing the outside flaps. Okay. And let's close them up to complete our cube. Shauna, are we able to get any close-ups on their product? What? Do you want to hold up your favorite object, the one that you really think that you did very well with it? Oh, we've got some clowns in this class. Who's doing that, Jane? Jane decided it was a hat. Well, you know what? I expect, yes, that was my first thought too, so I can't blame Jane. Okay. Oh, now the triangular prism has become a telephone for Mary. Okay. What else have you created? You just want a candy box, okay. Yeah, take home a snack, put it in there, sit in front of TV, it's my snack box. Okay. Well, let's see what we have next. Oh, so that's what she was up to. I was up to having you create your own still life objects because this is where we're at this point. So I would like you to take your objects and arrange them any way you would like. My instructions in the handout was that you students will arrange a still life composition using all or some of the objects. The use of the sphere or egg is optional. So on your desk, I did place some spheres. And if you see an extra sphere around, take it for your still life composition. The duck's egg, I just bought it because I wanted to buy a duck's egg. If you choose only one object, it should show some repetition. And if there's time, we can do a blind contour. That also would be fun, just looking at your object and trying to figure out where the lines are. All right, let's take a fresh piece of paper now, and we are going to try to do our still life. Now, if you want to start off initially with copying me, that's fine. If you have an idea of the way you want to do it your way. All right, I'm just going to do a general walkthrough of the basics of doing that. Okay, we did everything. Okay, swear. Let's get HP. All right, I'm going to give this one a try. Okay. So our students are now busy trying to figure out how to stack them. Yes, Janet, they do collapse if you try to do it all four, yes. Okay. Good, we have some different still life compositions. All right? So basically, I chose to put the cone on the cylinder on the cube. I chose to put the triangular prism next to it in the background, and in the foreground, I decided on the sphere. When you first try to do a composition, you need to start with one object and just draw the contour lines. So I am going to start, and I invite you at home and in the class to start drawing your contour lines. And of course, you would be erasing any unwanted lines, so you can pretty much have that freedom to make any mistake you want. So my cylinder, in back, I want to put the cube. I have to tell you, I have to be honest, I basically just made it up. I mean, sometimes you can just do it by honestly looking at it, and sometimes you just don't want to, you want to make it up. So some of it is just made up. Dramatic effect and all. And my sphere. Of course, I drew the whole thing in, the whole cube in, and then I superimpose the sphere in front. So of course I would erase these lines, as understood. And my prism in the back. I did have to check on the light for the prism. So once we get to that point and go past the contour is when we start the shading. This one is a little smaller, but it's basically the same thing. So you start with one object at the time. Maybe I want to start with the cylinder. I know that there's a lot of darkness here. And I have a middle tone here. So I'll start with that. And I started doing this straight line down, and then now I want to do a diagonal. Same thing for my cylinder. And I'm starting to get that corrugated pattern again, which is annoying. Maybe I want to do a little bit of a curve. Maybe I want it really sharp and dark. That's another thing you will start to learn as you do your artwork. Balance. The balance of lights and darks is very important. If you have something very dark here, you need to balance it somewhere else to bring out that darkness. Same thing for your lights. If you're doing color work, it's a little more difficult because you have to incorporate that whole color scale. All right, over here, I'm assuming that this is going to be my light tone, and I'm going to have a slight shadow here, so I might just cheat a little there. I know that this is going to be dark, so it's pretty safe to say. And I know this is going to be a middle tone. So I'm using a charcoal stick now. It is labeled soft, so I know it's going to release a lot of product. I have a choice if I want to put a shadow here for the circle or here. So I'm going to put one here. And then maybe I'll also put a cast shadow here. The shadow, of course, helps to define the three-dimensionality of the object. And here we go. Wow. I am really seeing that corrugated pattern coming through. I am so ticked. I know. One of the students said instant crosshatch. Yes. Unwanted. And of course, my shade over here. Unbelievable. I'll have to put a stronger backing if I do this again. Of course, no matter what your paper is or what's in the back, it adds a certain quality to what you're doing. You just have to give in to that. As far as the prism went, I know there was a shadow up here, and I mostly saw this as being white. But here's the play. Exactly how do I want to approach this? Do I want this to be a dark shade, this to be a middle shade? So now it begins to play against each other. So if you're going to darken something someplace, it's got to be light someplace else. And in other words, you have to have that contrast of what you're doing, because that's the exciting part of what you are drawing. Unbelievable. Now, I know I want to get this a little darker than this. So start to play, it's a game. Start to play the game where you want certain objects to come out at the viewer. And in order to do it, you need to have that light and dark play. So do the best you can there. Wondering if I'm going to get that here. Ah. I see I'm not getting as much, but still getting it. You can try this at home with any fruit. Fruit's very, very good still life. Material is hard to do, but once you get the knack of it, it's fun. Just about anything. How are we doing? Would you kindly hold up your drawing so I get an idea of just where we're at? Good, good. Nice. I like you're starting to really experiment with the shadow. All right, keep up with that. Let's see what my next thing was. I spoke about repetition of objects. You can start to get a little crazy with what you're doing. You can start to experiment. You can take that freedom. So as an artist, when we look at things, sometimes things get turned upside down. Sometimes we see things that others just don't see at all. I had a teacher once that said, that gave us all a picture, and she said, okay, turn it upside down. People moaned, didn't understand. I turned it upside down. Your brain will tell you what to see. My brain saw something. And if your brain can identify a pattern in something you see upside down, although it has nothing to do with the picture, draw it, because your brain wants that. And so I began to do things like looking at things like really close up, like maybe this is not important, maybe this is important. And I'll magnify that, or I'll turn it upside down. And I'll say, what do you see? What do you see now? A painting goes wrong. I say, okay, turn it upside down, turn it sideways. Do you see anything else that's worthwhile saving? Does anything excite you? And I'll either say, yes, I see something else. And I'll go with it. So it's just very subjective. You as an artist see things that others could not possibly see, and that is your gift. I'm going to flip this now and show you what my eyes see. And I'll show you why my eyes see that. Because this was not taken from anything. It is taken basically from a memory 55 years ago. So I will show you this. In New York as a student, I took a photography class. Things interested me, like garbage. So I would photograph garbage, buildings, whatever. And I saw these barrels. I didn't look in the barrels. I don't think I wanted to. And, but it fascinated me because I'm holding it upside down. I'm looking like something's wrong. Yeah, holding it upside down. Because, okay, this is the beginning. This is in the foreground. You have this big gaping mouth. And as it progresses or degresses backwards, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I like that. So, so I fantasize about that and took the picture. And so now I'm looking at it and I say, okay, what can we do with that? So what we can do with that is we can start and do the same thing by going into the foreground and making it large, and then having it just sort of fade off. There's another trick that artists use to get your attention, is they direct your eyes in ways, and I'm sure you must all know by this time how we do it. We do it with light and dark and shadow and so on. So I'm directing your eye to go from this point this way. And you can't help but not do that. I have tricked you. I have told you you're going to go this way whether you like it or not. And another thing that I'm tricking you is I'm not finishing this drawing. And you might say, well, you didn't finish it, it's not perfect. Guess again. To me, it's perfect. It's what I meant to give you. I meant you only to see these lines and just imagine the rest. I meant you to see that it was going to go off somewhere and disappear. I meant you to see that I'm not finishing this line because this whole area, it's not blank space. This area that you might think is blank has meaning to the artist. Everything has meaning. What you see and what you don't see has meaning. A lot of us use that old trick of the diagonal. Look at any painting, any drawing. If it's really good, you're going to see some kind of a diagonal. You're going to know what the artist is trying to do and where they want your eyes to go. So anyway, this is this whole flow. You can become obsessed with objects. I did. So in another class in New York, let's not hold us upside down, dear. I did a print, and you can very clearly see the influence of line, dark and light, and geometrical objects.
Is it architecture?
No, it's called a cubicle. It's what we might call an abstract. It's my impression of somebody stuck in an office in a cubicle, which I was as a temporary worker, first going to New York and not having any money, trying to find an apartment, and so on. You let yourself out as a temporary worker and go wherever to make that money. So that's how I felt about it, that we were all stuck in a cubicle. So again, your feelings. Finally, at a graphic arts class, I realized that, maybe I could have been. Are we holding it straight? No, you're not. And so I tried my hand at black and white, which I found I really liked black and white. I had some trouble with color. So again, more classes ensued to learn color, and that's what we're going to be doing next time. So I give you the benefit of every single thing I ever learned. Everything I learn, I want you to have the basics so that you will explore on your own the rest of this adventure. I like this one because I take the circle and then I put another geometric object in the center, and I contrast dark to light, light to dark. And of course, try out my skill with the different pens. Sometimes using a quill, and sometimes using what they call a Koh-i-Noor pen. So I enjoyed doing this. It will lead to different adventures. Whatever you do is going to lead to something else. And next week we are going to take a very fine adventure. Please wear comfortable clothing that you're not afraid is going to come back with paint spilled all over it. We will be using glass jars filled with water. We'll be color mixing at the beginning. People at home should have red, yellow, and blue available in a tempera or a watercolor. I will provide you with brushes that you will enjoy using and describe to you exactly how to use them and the technical parts of that. So after the color mixing, which you will do yourself at the tables, we will make a color wheel in which we will be using the primary colors, mixing them to make secondary colors. I will explain all that next week. And we will be doing a very simple watercolor. And it will be totally abstract, so abstract. So you don't have to worry that you have to do something. I have to make a forest today. No, you don't. All you have to do is go zip with one color, let it drip, turn it around, zip, let it drip. We're going to throw salt at it because we want to have some sparkle. Salt absorbs moisture. So any other little trick that I've learned. And I'll tell you who taught me these tricks. So you're just going to have another adventure. So I welcome you back tomorrow. Please tell your friends, your companions, that we welcome you at ACC. And again, I want to thank ACC for allowing me to give you these art lessons. And I hope you are enjoying them. And many thanks to Sean for his support today. Okay, Sean, we're going to wrap it up. Okay.
Thank you, Francesca.
Thank you for coming. My brave warriors of the arts.